me know when y'all are ready.
Let me know when you're good.
And there's going to be 3 people speaking, the chief, principal, and Superintendent Tyler. You guys, if y'all will, when you stand up and take questions, just state your name and spell your name. If you've been here before, just so they can have it back in the studio for them to get it correct.
We're getting ready to start.
Okay.
And some of us are streaming on Facebook Live. Yeah.
Just FYI.
Just
FYI.
FYI.
We're good.
Appreciate you.
I'm not even ready to do that. They're the next contestant on Places.
How you good?
Yeah.
Everybody good? We're good.
Everybody up? Okay, on YouTube.
Good.
State your name.
Debbie, don't lean in.
I'm not. I'm just trying to see
So your head's not in.
if it's not and no hair.
Everybody ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Thurston Bullock. I'm the chief of Foley. Spelling is Thurston. Last name is Bullock. Around 10:20 this morning, we received a call at the police department of a situation at the school where the alarm was pressed in reference to an active threat. Our officers responded quickly, but meanwhile, during that time, we have SROs on campus. We do have 2 SROs at this location. They responded with school staff immediately to the situation. There were a lot of students running, and reports of a gun had come out over radio. So that's what was relayed. At that time, everybody responded accordingly. It gave us time to get on scene. The students and teachers went into lockdown, I believe, appropriately. And that gave everybody a safety blanket so we could come in and start clearing the school and do what we do on the police department side. We had officers respond from Baldwin County and all over the area. We probably had over 100 officers respond. Those officers did a great job as well in their response, and we realized that everything was safe. When we arrived on scene, there was no injuries. We did not find any gun, and once we made sure everything was secure, we went into investigative mode and also making sure that the classrooms were clear and taking care of those situations as well. Once we got everything secured, we started working on with staff to do reunification and get the students out and working on that plan. So we were able to put that plan out over social media and get that out there so we could start getting parents reunited with their kids. It's often not as fast as we would want to get it, but our number one priority is getting in there to make sure this school is safe and that those kids are taken care of, and that their priority is life safety, and we want to make sure that that's done first and foremost. Then we'll work with everyone to get that message out there for the reunification aspect of it. One thing I do want to cover is that during the investigation, a picture started floating around on social media, and I think it caused more alarm. We did locate that student. We took them in for questioning. They did not even have on the same clothes that's in that picture, and I don't believe that picture was from anywhere here on campus. So I don't believe that there's any alarm to think that student had any involvement in it, that picture was even from today. And I just want to put that out there for, one, the safety of that student, as well as to quench any social media rumors that may be floating around. Again, I think everybody had a great response from staff to all the law enforcement agencies and all the medical response that came with it. And I'm just glad that there was nothing worse that happened than what happened today, other than what occurred.
Do you know who pressed
We're
the
going to take some
alarm?
questions
Why?
at the end if we can, Jessica. Let's go ahead and do this, and that way we can have all 3 of them take your questions.
Same clip, right? Mike?
Jessica.
Jessica Webb, Principal, Foley High School. First of all, I want to thank our law enforcement for their quick response today. It was very speedy. Also, we're blessed to be in Baldwin County, where we have safety plans in place and we have our alarm system in place. And our staff and our teachers today responded very quickly, and I am so proud of them and how they have handled this entire process, including right now reunification. They're still handling it, and they're doing a great job. And I can't say enough about our students and how well behaved they were today. They are just perfect right now in that cafeteria. You can hear them right now on a microphone, and they're listening, they're following directions, and they have throughout this whole process. So I'm just really proud of our teachers, our staff, and our students at Foley High School, and how quickly we responded today and how everybody has handled it with professionalism, and how well behaved our students have been. Okay. Tyler.
Eddie Tyler, Superintendent of Baldwin County Schools. As a superintendent, I have mixed emotions. Some of it's anger, and some of it is relief. I can't tell you how frustrating parents have to be right now with this situation, but also, hopefully, parents across Baldwin County see what we have in place. That the number one priority is protection of our students and our employees. And that happened today. To watch law enforcement go into effect like they did, to watch this school go into an actual real lockdown, which at the time they perceived, it makes me very proud, and I'm sure our board, to be representing the school system. But I tell you what, this right here is what we work for every day. We don't want this to happen, but there's reports of guns. We don't know anything about a gun. We're leaving it up to law enforcement. And, you know, right now we're going to do our part. We'll be putting out something later from the school system. But right now, I'm so proud of law enforcement and the school and their staff, what they did.
You want to take questions?
Chief, if you could come back up, and I know you said you had a report of an incident here. What actually happened?
So when I say report, the alarm system that is in place for the schools goes off, and it gets relayed to our dispatch, and that creates the response from the patrol officers on the street, as well as anybody that's at the police department. That's an all call. Everybody's coming when that situation happens. Again, the SROs and the staff, they go into their mode and they take care of the immediate situation, and that gives us time to get there as well. And that's the purpose of the lockdown drill as well.
Do you know
Was
what
it a
the
fire
alarm,
or was
who
it-
set it off,
yeah,
and why it was alerted?
I'll let the school answer that question. I have not gotten into that part of the investigation thoroughly, but I'll let them speak on that.
Have any students been taken into custody for any reason?
Not into custody. Like I said before, in reference to the social media rumor, we did bring one in for questioning to try to, alleviate that information. If it was misinformation, we wanted to dispel that quickly if it was, and we did.
So what we heard initially was there was a fight here at the school. Can you confirm that? Was there a fight?
Again, I'll let them speak on it, but
That there was a fight, that there was a gun, no shots were fired, but you're still trying to determine if there was a gun on campus. Is that?
we got a report that there was a fight and a gun. That was the initial call that was coming into us, and the things that started popping up on social media. We have not confirmed anything about a fight nor a gun.
You want to stand
Well,
up and speak to that?
Yeah. Was it a teacher that hit the alarm, and what prompted him?
During class transition, we have 1,600 students, so the hallways, there's a lot of students walking through the hallways during transition. One of our teachers saw a commotion and overheard a student made a comment about a weapon, and that sent that teacher to use their badge to send the school into lockdown. There was not a fight.
There was not a fight.
Or,
No, ma'am.
or a gun, just she heard talk of a gun. And
It
so
was
is that
it was
protocol?
overheard. It was overheard, and that's what that teacher heard, and that teacher then took that very seriously and sent us into
Did what
lockdown.
she was supposed to do.
Right.
There's no overreaction here. This
No,
was-
there's really not. It's safety first.
You mentioned commotion. Was there like a verbal?
Just kids in the
arguing?
hallway. No,
Okay.
no.
So not a physical fight, not a verbal
It's
fight.
it's
just-
transition. You've got hundreds of kids in the hallway. We have 1,600 students, so it was not a commotion where there was a verbal argument. It wasn't anything like that.
Did the student yell gun and kind of create a panic, or how?
I don't want to say the exact thing that the teacher overheard, but what the teacher overheard, they felt like they heard something that was about a weapon. It was never the word gun, and it alarmed them enough to push their lockdown button.
You mentioned that it was transition, hundreds of students in the hallways. Obviously not, no time is ideal, but not a time you really want to have an alarm like this. It sent many students running off campus, other students running to classrooms. How would you describe how that all played out?
So students go into the closest classroom that they can get into. Teachers quickly did their job in the hallways. We had teachers on duty all in the hallways, and they were quickly getting them into their classrooms and locking down those classrooms. Teachers who were near exits with students We're taking those students off campus to the closest place that was a safe area off campus if they were transitioning outside. So I feel like our teachers, staff, and students did exactly how we've trained them to respond in this situation as far as locking down.
What's the cell phone policy here for students? Can they have them? Are they not supposed to have them? Or what's the?
So our cell phone policy here is not in the classrooms.
Okay.
So in the classrooms, it's off limits. So as they walk into the classroom, they have the option of either putting it in a pouch or concealing it in their book bag turned off.
Could someone address the communication? I spoke with frustrated parents who felt like they weren't getting information fast enough about what actually occurred here on campus. They were getting frantic texts from their students about 30 minutes before an email went out. And I know first priority is making sure everyone's safe, but could you just address some of the frustrations that we just heard from parents in Carolina?
Well, I'm sure I'll read some emails about frustration, but I haven't heard that. When I listened to the communication that was going on in our communication division with Chastity, and our board attorney, Sarah Young, was coordinating that. To me, they were communicating with the chief. We're never, and parents need to know this, we're never going to put information out ahead of what we know. So sometimes parents just need to take a breath. We're going to get the communication out there, but it's not going to be just willy-nilly. So I think it's just natural in situations like this for parents to get frustrated. They want it quicker and better. But I'm very proud of how we got information out today.
You had hundreds, literally hundreds of people outside of this school. Does that, and this may not be your question, it may be a public safety question, does that help or hinder you? I mean, because we've still got first responders that are coming in if this was an actual active shooter on this campus.
Well, I can let the police chief respond to that, but I mean, the people that are outside, generally when law enforcement shows up, they're going to secure the perimeter. And so I'm sure that's what they did when they got here, but I don't know if Chief wants to respond to that.
I completely understand as a parent myself about wanting to get in and wrap my arms around my child and make sure they're safe. That is a natural paternal response. Absolutely understood, completely 100%. But also, at the same time, if every parent were to do that, that would create more chaos on top of what we're already trying to do. So one of the things that we are going to do is secure the perimeter from people that are responding in that don't need to be in there. We don't know if that parent is somebody that is a threat, that is a possible threat, and that is the shooter. We don't know how to deal with these people when it comes to, if we're trying to deal with the inside and we're having to also deal with the outside. And let's say there was talks about storming our perimeter and coming in and get the kid. If that were to happen, that's going to create chaos and it's going to absorb resources. I want to thank the parents that were patient. I know that it was antsy and it was a tense situation. And I want to thank them for keeping their cool and staying put. And I understand their desire to get in. But at the same time, the chaos that would create and absorb the resources, even with the response that we had, it takes a lot of officers to deal with this situation. And if I had to put them out there to deal with more of the chaos, then that keeps us from doing our job inside, and that is protecting the staff and the kids inside this building and making sure that everyone's safe and that there is no threat, because we can't just assume by going in that we don't hear gunshots or nothing going on. We need to be thorough, and we need to do some clearing, and we need to try to find suspects, and we need to keep everybody in place until we can make sure that there's nothing else going to happen and that everything's under control. And once we get that done, then we can have a very orderly and systematic process of having a release with the students, which is what we've been doing. And again, even in the car line that we've created and the way it was done, again, very slow, and I know it's anxious, but it was very methodical and the process worked very well.
Lastly for you, is this investigation pretty much wrapped up then?
No,
where do we stand?
The primary or preliminary investigation, I should say, is done in reference to the school. We feel that everything's safe. That, again, it was not an overreaction. We did exactly what we're supposed to do. But we don't feel that there's a threat. We feel that the school's safe. They can go back in operation. That's their call on what they want to do and when they want to do it. But as for our stance, we will, of course, in the upcoming days, have a more postured stance here just to reassure parents that we have more than just our SROs on campus. We'll reinforce that to make sure there's a feeling of safety there. But when they decide to open it back up and let everybody come back in, that will be on them. But I don't feel that there's any further threat. Oh, and back to the social media thing one more time. Instead of blasting things out on social media that you don't know to be true, and we all know how social media goes. I wish parents would take this into account, is that the dissemination of information can create a lot of chaos. If it's something that's important and you feel that it's evidentiary information, that needs to come to the police department. That needs to come to us first and foremost. Let us look into that and deal with that situation. And that way, one, we get it in a timely manner and can look into it quickly. And two, it does not create chaos out there either.
Ms. Wood, could you step forward one more time? Just because we hear what's going on over our shoulders, you've got students still on their way home, and by the looks of it, it will take some time. We've got an audience that's watching on Facebook right now. If you could let folks know kind of where things stand, how long you anticipate this will be, and are some students still staying at school for us today, or is everybody going home?
We do have some students that are still here that are staying at school, that are bus riders. They'll be leaving here shortly once we get to the bus students. But right now we started with our drivers first, our car drivers that are in our student parking lot, to get those students out and get that cleared. As soon as we did that, then we went to systematically in sections in the gym and the cafeteria, releasing students as we're called. We had an officer and myself on radio with microphones calling in the cafeteria and the gym as our parents were pulling in. Just keep everything just uniform and hopefully keeping that line moving as fast as we can. But you know, it's just not going to be a quick process when you have this many students, and we have construction going on in the backside of our building right now, so we're limited on access right now.
And the alarm that the teacher hit, is that the one that you guys wear?
Yes.
Can you show us what that, so that's the button that the,
Yes.
Is it like a panic button?
It is. You push it 3 times, and that alerts administration and nurses and your SRO to go if there's a situation going on in the building, like could be an argument or something going on that you feel like could escalate. They'll push that, and we respond. When you push it 8 times or more, and you keep pushing that thing, it goes into lockdown, and then that's when the cavalry comes, and that's what happened today.
Back to business as usual tomorrow. Is that?
That will be up to Mr. Tyler.
Absolutely.
I feel like the building is secure and everyone is safe, and I just again thank everybody who responded so quickly. I think everything went as well as it could in a tough situation.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you all.
Thank y'all.